Fatigued EMTs and paramedics are more likely to be hurt on the job. They're more likely to make medication errors. And so it's not just about falling asleep at the wheel, but it really affects patient care.
3 ambulance crashes within 30 days. Once again, the driver says he fell asleep behind the wheel. The former EMS director for the state says something needs to change. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Hill. We are going to look at the latest crash in Monticello a little bit later in the show. You can head to our Facebook Live right now while you watch on television for more behind-the-scenes conversations about all of our stories tonight.
And I'm Lee Goldberg live at the finish line of the Beach to Beacon here in Cape Elizabeth at Fort Williams. And boy, what a day it has been with all the hundreds, literally over 800 volunteers that have been here to get everything ready for tomorrow's big race. You know by now it's the 20th anniversary of the Beach to Beacon, one of the most prestigious road races in all of New England. Obviously, the founder of this, Joan Benoit Samuelson, Olympic gold medalist. A lot of people come to this little town of Cape Elizabeth just to support her with this amazing run. Take a look at some video from this morning. There was a press conference where the elite runners from all across the world were here, and they met with all the media. They answered some questions, but all eyes, at least in Maine, are on Ben True. The Greeley High School graduate was the first Mainer to ever win the Beach to Beacon last year. This year's field is even more competitive because it's not an Olympic year like last year was. So Ben is well aware if he wants to go back to back, he's going to have his hands full.
How was your frame of mind going into this year?
Yeah, no, it's about the same. You know, get on the starting line and give it all you got and see what happens at the end. So it's a great field this year, and so it should be interesting to see what happens.
Your expectations?
I mean, I always toe the line hoping to win, so that's always the goal. So we'll see if I'll have it tomorrow or not, but that's always the goal.
I mentioned the founder of this race, Joan Benoit Samuelson, the first woman to ever win the Olympic marathon. This was back in 1984 in Los Angeles. It was the first year of the marathon, and she won the gold medal. So she has had international running fame ever since that day in LA back in 1984. We had a chance to catch up recently about this race, the 20th year of it, and here's what Joan had to say. Is there any one part as we go back in time over 2 decades that is the most impressive thing for you, the thing you're specifically the most proud of, where you well up maybe when you think about 20 years, we've done so many amazing things, but this one, is super special?
For me, what I like the most about the race is that it pulls runners off the sidelines. People who are so inspired and impressed by what they see passing in front of them on the sidelines that they challenge themselves by asking the question, I wonder if I could do this. And they sign up and run, and it leads to really a new lifestyle and a new whole outlook on life.
Honestly, there are so many people over the course of me covering this for the last 20 years that have told me flat out, from the elite runners to the volunteers to everybody involved, they're only here because of you.
That's not true.
And they've told me this.
No,
it's true.
I can't believe it.
So many people came because of you, at least in the first place, and that's got to make you just feel good that you've touched that many people that were willing to give this race a chance and let them see what it's all about.
Well, passion is contagious, and we have a group of people who are as passionate as I am about this event, and they give a good part of their year and a big part of their summer to making this event what it is. So it's a real team effort, and as I said, we all have a stake in the event, and we're always striving to make it even better than it was the year before.
7 o'clock, News Center will air a half-hour special, Beach to Beacon, a 20-year run. That's tonight at 7, and it's right here on News Center. One of the biggest questions about tomorrow's race, and it seems to be the case every single year, what will the weather be? Keith is not around today. Jess Conley's got the answer to that question.
We're going to talk about the weather for tomorrow in just a second. We're going to talk about what's going on out there right now, dealing with some fog along parts of the coast, but we're also dealing with a few showers and thunderstorms. We'll zoom into this next line of thunderstorms. This is coming out of Manchester, New Hampshire right now. It's moving pretty quickly to the north and east, so expected to hit the New Hampshire-Maine border in less than an hour. That could affect many of us in York and Cumberland County, so we're keeping a close eye on that one certainly over the next hour or two here. We had some storms move through the Sebago Winnebago and Bridgeton area a little bit longer, but those you can see have moved off and really have quieted down. We had some up near Rangeley and Eustis too, just some heavy rain at this point. Again, if you can hear the thunder though, make sure you head indoors because it means you're close enough to get struck by that lightning, and that is really the primary threat out there right now. Today's high temperatures were gorgeous. Most of us near in the mid to upper 70s to near 80 degrees. 80 the high today in Augusta, 76 today in Portland. Not too bad. A couple degrees below normal for this time of year, but again, not awful. All right, here's the forecast for tomorrow. The main problem I see with tomorrow morning is going to be the humidity. Our dew points will be in the mid 60s. You're definitely going to notice the humidity out there. We'll be dealing with some fog too. Temperatures though should stay pretty comfortable. Lee?
All right, Jess, thank you very much. Some news from this area. The Coast Guard has suspended its search for an 80-year-old boater off the coast of Maine. Crews say that Richard Pratt's 33-foot sailboat ran aground right here near Cape Elizabeth yesterday. Now, officials found his sailboat with a skiff attached and a cabin door open right around Richmond Island, which is, again, right near Cape Elizabeth. The Coast Guard says Pratt launched his sailboat from Wood Island, which is off the coast of Biddeford, but they're not exactly sure when. The Coast Guard searched for Pratt by boat and by helicopter today, but again, that search has been suspended. All right, Amanda, let's go back to you.
Thanks, Lee. The governor's administration has requested a waiver from the federal government to make changes to the way people in Maine receive Medicare. According to Senator Eric Brakey, the chair of the Health and Human Services Committee, the changes would be to require able-bodied adults to pay premiums in order to participate in Medicare. The premiums would range from $10 to $30 a month, depending on income level. It would also require those adults to fork up a $10 copay when using the emergency room for non-emergency matters. Brakey says the reform would be similar to changes made to the state's food stamp program. The idea to curb any abuse of the program. Governor LePage caught a few legislators off guard during a radio interview yesterday morning for WGAN.
Well, it's not over yet because I just found out this morning that they made a mistake. When they crafted the budget, they left out OIT. So if they don't come back and fix it, we're going to be shutting down.
Will the state of Maine be shutting down due to an error in the budget? We asked Senate President Mike Thibodeau and Representative Drew Guttine, the chair of the Appropriations and Financial Affairs Committee. First, an explainer. OIT handles a lot of behind-the-scenes technology for state agencies. According to Thibodeau, the governor is talking about a $1 million funding request that came from his administration. Both he and Representative Guttine say it was approved within the budget, but leaders are double-checking right now.
Yeah, I don't anticipate any government shutdowns over $1 million. You know, this is about one specific initiative that they do in the OIT office, which is about $1 million out of a $50-ish million department. And so I'm pretty sure that they'll have the resources to cover that $1 million between now and January. And then if we need to appropriate an additional, you know, $1 million or a portion thereof, I'm sure that we're quite capable of doing that. But remember, we're only talking about a very few months before the legislature would be back in January to deal with anything that might be a problem.
So no, what the governor said is false. Even if the legislature has to take up that $1 million, it will not come back before January to do so, and the government will not shut down. Lee?
All right, Amanda, 2 decades of running a race that brings across Mainers, people from across the country, people from all across the world. 54 different countries have been represented in the Beach to Beacon. Coming up, we'll continue our live coverage ahead of tomorrow's big race, why some legacy runners never imagined the big event would turn into what it is now. And our post question today is, would you ever run a road race? What do you think? Have you already done it? Do you want to do it? Or the other option in our poll, are you crazy? Go to pulse.newscentermaine.com or open up our mobile app and click on the Pulse tab to let us know what you think. News Center Now continues after the break.
No one was seriously injured when a driver fell asleep behind the wheel of an ambulance in Aroostook County around 1 o'clock this morning. It's the 3rd ambulance crash in 30 days in Maine. Police say a Caribou ambulance hit a utility pole while driving on Route 1. The crash caused a massive power outage. Police say Nicholas Pelletier fell asleep and drifted off the road. 2 other ambulance crashes, one in Bodenham and one in Masardis, were both blamed on drowsy driving. The former EMS director for Maine says it happens every day nationwide And what needs to change comes from within the emergency industry.
An EMT, paramedic, who has been up for 18 hours, has the cognitive function of a person with a 0.08 blood alcohol level. That's a legally intoxicated driver. You know, the last time these stories ran, there was a lot of discussion online about there ought to be regulations about this. I'm not sure this is something you can regulate, because what we're talking about is people identifying a behavioral issue, identifying when a coworker perhaps is too tired, when they're tired themselves, identifying ambulances that perhaps aren't being operated safely, and having the courage as individuals and as service chiefs to say, no, that's not okay. I mean, you know, EMS for a long time has put a lot of interest into great patient care. They train, they do quality improvement, because it's all about providing great patient care. But I think sometimes when it comes time to take care of ourselves and our colleagues and our coworkers, it's a little bit more difficult because it's foreign to us.
You could have a whole 24 hours where you're really not doing much and you have plenty of downtime. And then you can have a whole 24 hours where you're on the go the whole 24 hours.
Sure.
Is there anything really that can be done?
If you go from one job to another, or somebody's got kids, they've been up all night, and then they have to go to a job which is a high-intensity job, and EMS providers enjoy that adrenaline that comes with it, and we also really want to help people. I mean, this, as I mentioned, this happens in volunteer services as well as fully paid services. So it's not just about the money. We're the type of people who really want to be involved, we want to care, we want to make a difference, and we want to go when the call comes out. And it is contrary to our DNA to say, no, we can't go because I'm tired. No, I can't take that shift because I'm working too much. And yet, that's really what it takes, is that comfort from within us to say, I'm just not the right person to do the job.
Bradshaw says there are online resources available, including questions to ask yourself while on the job. We've posted links to those in the Now section of our websites. Hey, storms are passing through. Jess maps them out, plus the full forecast for the weekend when Now continues. Quick correction to a story we aired earlier in the broadcast. The governor's administration has requested a waiver from the federal government to make changes to the way people in Maine receive Medicaid, not Medicare. And we have some storms.
We do.
Rolling through.
Yeah, thankfully we don't have any that are technically severe, but still lots of lightning, some pretty gusty winds out there too, and even a little bit of hail. So let's look at the radar right now. Again, you can see really not happening much in the state of Maine at this time. We had some move through the kind of Bridgeton and Sebago area earlier, but right now what I'm keeping an eye on are these storms coming out of the Manchester, New Hampshire area. They're moving pretty quickly to the north and east, so it could affect the Rochester, New Hampshire area over the next 45 minutes to an hour, and then they'll continue to move to the north and east. So we have to watch these for parts of southern Maine as we go through the next couple of hours. Not sure that they're all going to hold together as they move closer, but still some pretty frequent lightning with them. Wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour possible as well. Our current temperatures have cooled off some. It's 73 now in Portland, 71 now in Lewiston, Bangor. You're still at 79 degrees, much cooler along the mid-coast and the down east coast, in the upper 60s and lower 70s there. It's still 80 in Caribou and 83 degrees right now in Houlton. All right, we're going to spend some time on this. Let's go through the hour-by-hour forecast so we can talk about tomorrow. The Beach to Beacon is running tomorrow morning and this entire weekend. For tonight, again, some showers and storms sticking around through the next couple of hours, and then things calm down overnight tonight. That is good news for tomorrow morning. If you're up early, 6 o'clock, I know you have to get to that start line early. Things are looking pretty quiet, although it is going to be pretty humid with dew points in the low to mid 60s tomorrow. You're going to notice it. Temperatures, though, on the cool side, most of us in the mid 60s tomorrow morning to start. By 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're warming up only into the low 60s, though. You'll notice a big change as far as the temperatures go for tomorrow. By 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, mostly cloudy skies. Still, you'll notice tomorrow temperatures only warming up into the low to mid 70s because we'll see those clouds around for most of the day. But then what happens tomorrow afternoon and evening, this line here of showers and storms is going to move through our area. Could see some strong to severe storms with this line. It's ahead of a cold front that'll come through and keep us a little little bit on the cool side for the day on Sunday. Overnight Saturday into Sunday, things move out and then it'll really calm down and really start to clear out as we get into the day on Sunday. Looks nice and bright for at least the second half of the weekend. Dew points though tomorrow morning, again mid-60s for many of us. Could be tough to run in that, but at least we're not going to be dealing with sunshine, and very warm temperatures should be pretty comfortable except for the humidity. Seas for tomorrow around 3 feet, winds from the southeast at around 10 knots. We'll see some showers and storms once we get into tomorrow afternoon and evening. Here's a look at your extended forecast. I'll get out of the way so you can see it. Looking much better Sunday, in my opinion, than it is on Saturday. A couple showers and storms possible Monday into Tuesday, but after that, next week is looking pretty nice. Our high temperatures in the low 80s as we get into the middle of next week, and then on Friday, temperatures cool down a little bit. Lee?
All right, Jess, thank you very much. Love that forecast. Okay, so a lot of people run the race. A lot of people, like me, watch the race. I'm a legacy watcher. I will be watching my 20th Beach to Beacon tomorrow. There are others who will be taking part and running in their 20th Beach to Beacon tomorrow. Our own Chelsea Bard has a look at some of the legacy runners and why they've done it for all 19, and they're ready for number 20.
And we had no idea what it was going to turn into or what it would become. It was just fun to run it. It's an amazing race. Everybody is so committed to it. The community's so behind it. The race has become so huge. Everybody, it's like a world-class race. It's going to be a sad day when I don't do it. It was like 8 or 9 years in, and we had the streak going, and it was still, it's a streak, but it's like, no, it's not what it is now. It's like a sacred weekend. It truly is.
It's the climax of the running season and the biggest race of the year. How can you not run it? And it's 5 miles from my front door. Then it's just become such a world-class event. The quality of the event right here in Maine in our backyard. We're so lucky to have this. It would be fun to watch the finish of the race, especially last year with Ben True winning. I know a Mainer winning one of the top 10Ks in the country. Nothing goes wrong in this race. It's so well done. All my buddies run it, all of them that can still run it. Some of them physically can't run it anymore, and that's a little sad. I know I'll get there. Larry Wald, TD, Dave Weatherby was the president for so many years. Joni, they just, it's a top-notch race.
Best of luck to all the legacy runners tomorrow and all the runners as they get ready to take part in the 20th Beach to Beacon. Okay, over the years we've heard Joan Benoit Samuelson say the words Dave McGilvery. He's the longtime race director. He will join us live for an interview coming up when Now continues.
All right, our pulse question ahead of tomorrow's 20th Beach to Beacon. Would you ever run a road race? Looks like 59% say, are you crazy? Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. You can continue voting. Go to pulse.newscentermaine.com or open our mobile app and click on the Pulse tab to let us know what you think. Lee?
Amanda, I'm at the finish line, so technically I'm first, even though the race doesn't start until tomorrow and I want my medal. To get that, I'm going to talk to the director of the race, Dave McGilvery. Thank you for taking the time to join us. So much to talk about, but let's just start. You have been the race director or involved in some of the biggest races in the world. Can you possibly explain why this race is so special?
I think it just has all the elements that make up, one of the best races in the country, if not the world. It has Joni. No one else has Joni. We have Joni. Community support is second to none. It has an iconic course. I mean, point to point by the ocean here, finishing at the most photographed lighthouse on the planet. You know, elite athletes, and all the different charities that are involved. It just doesn't get any better than this.
I think when you first started, there were 2,500, maybe 3,000 runners or so, 6,500 people. Mm-hmm. So over the course of this 20-year span of this race, as it's grown, how have your challenges as the director of this thing changed?
Well, it's not due to the growth size. We're up to actually about 8,000 entrants, and how many will run remains to be seen tomorrow. But it's all the enhancements, you know, everything from the kids' fun run that we do, and you know, all the different events leading up to it, the expo, and now the second annual kids high school mile. So it's just a lot of different moving parts, a lot of different dynamics. So growth isn't just a factor of how many warm bodies you have in the event, but everything else, all the ancillary events that we've added on.
You mentioned Joan. I was talking to her earlier about people do tell me they originally come because she asks and because she's Joan, and she asks and they say okay. Mm-hmm. She really is the common denominator of why so many of these moving parts are together.
She really is, and you know, again, I've always said that genius is seeing it in the seed, and she was the visionary that wanted to bring an event of this magnitude, a world-class competitive event, to her hometown. So she assembled a good team, and it's all about the orchestra. As you know, I might be a conductor, but it's everybody that surrounds you that really makes it up. And I think Joan will be the first one to tell you, she was the spark, but you know, the engine is the organizing committee, the 900 volunteers, the sponsors, just so many different people have a hand in this that make it work as well as it does. And
you're running tomorrow, you don't always run, so who talked you into that?
My 11-year-old son talked me into it. He's run a couple of 10Ks, and it was funny, I ran my birthday run. I run my age on my birthday every year, and I ran it a couple of weeks ago, and so I ran 63 miles, and I started it when I was 12, and he wanted to join me for a couple of legs of it, and so he ran 11 miles. So he's 11, and he ran 11 miles, so he's got the family record right now, so we'll see where it goes. So we're a great team together running in road races, and I'm very proud of them.
All right, Dave McGilvery, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tomorrow, and appreciate all your hard work. All right, don't forget, coming up tonight at 7 o'clock, we'll have a special half-hour show to get you ready for tomorrow's Beach to Beacon. Beach to Beacon, a 20-year run. It comes your way tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on News Center. It's going to be a great day tomorrow. The weather will cooperate in the morning. There's going to be tons of people out here. If you're in the area, come on, support these amazing runners, and best of luck to everybody. That's going to do it for News Center Now. News Center at 5:30 begins right now.